Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to another spooky edition of Fantasy Basketball Weekly Video Update. I know you're all breathlessly awaiting this video. Sorry for the delay, but girl trumps fantasy basketball, or fantasy anything for that matter, so I'm sure you'll forgive me, and if not, oh well. But let's see what happened in Week 8, shall we? Well, to start, two of the top three teams posted the best records again, with Serenity getting an 8-1 win over Yellow Jackets, and Tacos getting an 8-1 win over Santa. Mockingbird and myself went on to win 7-2-0 over Power Ranger and Awesomeness 2.0, respectively, while Poverty brought up the last of the winners with a 6-3 win over Hoopers. Serenity got huge stats from K-Love as per usual, and Yellow Jackets tried to match him with Westbrook, but the rest of Yellow's team just wasn't up to the challenge. The only stat that was close was blocks, and Serenity still won that by 3. Maybe if Serenity hadn't had 40 games to Yellow's 29, it might have gone differently, but you can't fault Serenity for that. Tacos used Durant's gaudy numbers to put away Santa, who had LeBron James do incredibly well, but like Yellow, just didn't have the supporting players to help him out. 7 more games by Tacos also helped, I'm sure, since no stat was even close. But like Serenity, you can't blame Tacos for using his team to best advantage. Mockingbird spread his stats out over his team, including double-digit threes from Kyle Lowry and Caron Butler. With 4 more games than Power Rangers, it wasn't close. Like Mockingbird, I didn't dominate with one player, as even Howard had mediocre numbers, but with 8 more games played, it also wasn't close. Awesomeness 2.0 did finally realize that using all the players from one team wasn't going to cut it, but unfortunately then lost Mano Ginobili to a strained oblique for the ambiguous several weeks after only getting him back 4 games earlier. Hoopers was the only losing team to have more games played than his opponent, with 38 to Poverty's 36. Poverty's dynamic New York area point guards in Deron Williams and Jeremy Lin didn't leave Hoopers much chance, though. That brings us to the trophies. Tacos got a whopping 702 points over 39 games played, with 128 from Durant, taking the trophy from Mockingbird. Tacos also got 56 blocks, including a ridiculous 23 from Serge Ibaka to hold on to this one. Serenity took the assists trophy from Tacos with 177, including 61 from Steve Nash. Poverty got 57 three-pointers, which was one more than Serenity, and thereby took Serenity's trophy. So how did this all affect the power rankings? Well, let's see, shall we? And just so everyone is clear, I was able to get to the stats before they changed over after last night's games, so this is based on just last week's additional stats. And if you're wondering what my process is, I take the overall stats on the season and rank them in order of 1 to 10. I also include a score for trophies, last week's record, and current standing. There can be ties, and if that's the case, I skip down to the next available number, so that in essence the bottom is still scoring 10. The lower the score, the better your ranking. At number 1, surprise, surprise, Serenity still ranks at the top with a power ranking score of 29. He finally fell to 6th in turnovers, but that's still his lowest ranking, and he still has a number 1 ranking in 5 categories. Tacos comes in 2nd with a score of 35, largely thanks to his 5 trophies and having the best record on the week with Serenity. He also has a number 1 ranking in 5 categories. His big downfall is turnovers and adjusted field goal percentage. 3rd is still Mockingbird with a score of 55, a big jump to 3rd, isn't it? Part of his problem, though, is that he has a trophy score of 10 because he's got the most turnovers trophy. I bounced back up to 4th with a score of 57, thanks in part to my better record on the week compared to Poverty. Poverty falls to 5th with a score of 59. What didn't help Poverty was his fall to 8th in turnovers thanks to Lynn's 30 on the week. Still at 6th is Santa with a score of 69. Hoopers is still 7th with a score of 73. Because of a better record, Yellow Jacket stays at 8th with a score of 89. Power Rangers is still 9th, but also has a score of 89. Lastly, Awesomeness 2.0 brings up the rear with a score of 90. As I mentioned on Facebook, this week is a 2-week period and covers 70 total games played. That means if you have 69 or fewer games played by the start of Sunday, March 4th, all of those games will count. It also means you won't see a video next Monday, but I should be back by March 5th. During this 2-week matchup, Serenity takes on Yellow Jackets again. Not sure exactly how this happened, but you can thank ESPN, I guess. Tacos will take on Hoopers. Awesomeness 2.0 will take on Santa and see how his new look team can do in a full matchup. I'm going against Power Ranger. The matchup for the week, though, will be Poverty and Mockingbird. Unfortunately for Poverty, he's probably got the toughest schedule closing out the season. A 2-week matchup against Mockingbird, followed by the number 6 seed Santa in Week 10. And then in Week 12, he faces me. That's 3 potential playoff teams in 4 matchups to close out the season. Alright, friends, that's all for now. See you all in 2 weeks and hope you enjoy the All-Star break.